Welcome to Andy Reads the Bible, where we're reading through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation in 1 year. I'm your host, Andy Brassfield. Today is January the 16th, and I'll be reading Genesis 46 through 48 from the Message translation. Genesis chapter 46. So Israel set out on the journey with everything he owned. He arrived at Beersheba and worshipped, offering sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. God spoke to Israel in a vision that night. "Jacob, Jacob." "Yes," he said, "I'm listening." God said, "I am the God of your father. Don't be afraid of going down to Egypt. I'm going to make you a great nation there. I'll go with you down to Egypt. I'll also bring you back here, and when you die, Joseph will be with you. With his own hand, he'll close your eyes." Then Jacob left Beersheba. Israel's sons loaded their father and their little ones and their wives on the wagons Pharaoh had sent to carry them. They arrived in Egypt with the livestock and the wealth they had accumulated in Canaan. Jacob brought everyone in his family with him, sons and grandsons, daughters and granddaughters, everyone. These are the names of the Israelites, Jacob and his descendants who went to Egypt. Reuben, Jacob's firstborn. Reuben's sons, Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. Simeon's sons, Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. Levi's sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Judah's sons, Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. And Onan had already died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. Issachar's sons, Tola, Puah, Jashub, and Shimron. Zebulun's sons, Sered, Elon, and Jalil. These are the sons that Leah bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram. There was also his daughter Dinah. Altogether, sons and daughters, they numbered 33. Gad's sons, Zephon, Haggai, Shuni, Esbon, Eri, Arodi, and Areli. Asher's sons, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. Also their sister Sarah, and Beriah's sons, Heber and Malchiel. These are the children that Zilpah, the maid that Laban gave to his daughter Leah, bore to Jacob, 16 of them. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph was the father of 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, from his marriage to Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On. They were born to him in Egypt. Benjamin's sons were Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These are the children born to Jacob through Rachel, 14. Chapter 47. Joseph went to Pharaoh and told him, "My father and brothers with their flocks and herds and everything they own have come from Canaan. Right now they are in Goshen." He had taken 5 of his brothers with him and introduced them to Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked them, "What kind of work do you do?" "Your servants are shepherds, the same as our fathers were. We have come to this country to find a new place to live. There's no pasture for our flocks in Canaan. The famine has been very bad there. Please, would you let your servants settle in the region of Goshen?" Pharaoh looked at Joseph. "So, your father and brothers have arrived. A reunion. Egypt welcomes them. Settle your father and brothers in the choicest land. Yes, give them Goshen. And if you know any among them that are especially good at their work, put them in charge of my own livestock. Next, Joseph brought his father Jacob in and introduced him to Pharaoh. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob, "How old are you?" Jacob answered Pharaoh, "The years of my sojourning are 130, a short and hard life, and not nearly as long as my ancestors were given." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and left. Joseph settled his father and brothers in Egypt, made them proud owners of choice land. It was the region of the Ramses, that is Goshen, just as Pharaoh had ordered. Joseph took good care of them, his father and brothers and all his father's family, right down to the smallest baby. He made sure that they had plenty of everything. The time eventually came when there was no food anywhere. The famine was very bad. Egypt and Canaan alike were devastated by the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan to pay for the distribution of the food. He banked the money in Pharaoh's palace. When the money from Egypt and Canaan had run out, the Egyptians came to Joseph. "Food, give us food. Are you going to watch us die right in front of you? The money is all gone." Joseph said, "Bring your livestock. I'll trade you food for livestock since your money's run out." So they brought Joseph their livestock. He traded them food for their horses, sheep, cattle, and donkeys. He got them through that year in exchange for all their livestock. When that year was over, the next year rolled around, and they were back saying, "Master, it's no secret to you that we're broke. Our money's gone, and we've traded you all our livestock. We've nothing left to barter with but our bodies and our farms. What use are our bodies and our land if we stand here and starve to death right in front of you? Trade us food for our bodies and our land. We'll be slaves to Pharaoh and give up our land. All we ask is seed for survival, just enough to live on and keep the farms alive." Joseph bought up all the farms in Egypt for Pharaoh. Every Egyptian sold his land. The famine was that bad. That's how Pharaoh ended up owning all the land, and the people ended up slaves. Joseph reduced the people to slavery from one end of Egypt to the other. Joseph made an exception for the priests. He didn't buy their land because they received a fixed salary from Pharaoh and were able to live off of that salary, so they didn't need to sell their land. Chapter 48. Sometime after this conversation, Joseph was told, "Your father is ill." He took his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, and went to Jacob. When Jacob was told, "Your son Joseph has come," he roused himself and sat up in bed. Jacob said to Joseph, "The strong God appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. He said, 'I'm going to make you a prosperous and numerous, turn you into a congregation of tribes, and I'll turn this land over to your children coming after you as a permanent inheritance. I'm adopting your 2 sons who were born to you here in Egypt before I joined you. They have equal status with Reuben and Simeon. But any children born after them are yours. They will come after their brothers in matters of inheritance. I want it this way because as I was returning from Padan, your mother Rachel, to my deep sorrow, died as we were on our way through Canaan, when we were only a short distance from Ephraim, now called Bethlehem." Just then Jacob noticed Joseph's sons and said, "Who are these?" Joseph told his father, "These are my sons whom God gave me in this place." "Bring them to me," he said, "so I can bless them." Israel's eyesight was poor from old age. He was nearly blind. So Joseph brought them up close. Old Israel kissed and embraced them, and then said to Joseph, "I never expected to see your face again, and now God has let me see your children as well." Joseph took them from Israel's knees and bowed respectfully. his face to the ground. Then Joseph took the 2 boys, Ephraim in his right hand setting on to Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left hand setting him to Israel's right, and stood them before him. But Israel crossed his arms and put his right hand on the head of Ephraim, who was the younger, and his left hand on the head of Manasseh, the firstborn. Then he blessed them. The God before whom walked my fathers Abraham and Isaac, the God who has been my shepherd all my life long to this very day, the angel who delivered me from every evil, bless the boys. May my name be echoed in their lives, and the names of Abraham and Isaac my fathers, and may they grow, covering the earth with their children. When Joseph saw that his father had placed his right hand on Ephraim's head, he thought he had made a mistake. So he took hold of his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's, saying, "That's the wrong head, Father. The other one is the firstborn. Place your right hand on his head." But his father wouldn't do that. He said, "I know, my son, but I know what I'm doing. He also will develop into a people, and he also will be great. But your younger brother will be even greater, and his descendants will enrich nations." Then he blessed them both. "Israel will use your names to give blessings. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." In that, he made it explicit. He put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Israel then said to Joseph, "I'm about to die. God be with you and give you safe passage back to the land of your fathers. As for me, I'm presenting you as the first among your brothers. The ridge of land I took from the Amorites with my sword and bow." And this concludes today's reading. So we see the famine going so long that even the Egyptians would sell themselves and their land. I can't imagine what it would be like to be so hungry as to say, "I sell you my body and my land for something to eat." You know, that must have been a miserable feeling. I just pray that we never have to experience anything like that. Today's podcast is sponsored by Sugarwood Handyman, where we get your honey-do list done. Small jobs, odd jobs, home repairs, and more. To learn more about how Sugarwood Handyman can help you check off your honey-do list, visit facebook.com/sugarwoodhandyman. Visit us on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, Apple or Android. Search for Andy Reads the Bible. Our podcast page is located at andybible.libsyn.com. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.